up and welcome, I'm the one and only West Coast King, and welcome back to the Seattle Sounders series here in the MLS Challenge. Now, a little bit earlier this week, I put out a video kind of asking your opinion on whether or not I should do a second series, alongside our main series, which is the Orlando one right now. And you guys were overwhelmingly supportive of me starting a second series. And then more than a few of you also suggested that you would like to see this series, the Seattle series, back as that second series. And I thought, you know what? This is the perfect situation. It's the perfect time to bring this series back and see it out to its conclusion. Now, whether that's one season or 2 seasons, I don't really know. I don't think we'll go farther than that, but we are going to go through and finish this series and hopefully finish it off the right way. Now, just to be clear, this will be the second series on this channel. The main series will continue to be the Orlando series for now, which means the Orlando series will not change as far as the consistency and the number of uploads we do for that per week. This will be the second series, so it won't be quite uploaded as often as the Orlando series, but I still will be consistent with how often I do upload it. I'm shooting for probably 3 times a week right now to start off with. Hopefully that's not too much and I can maintain that with my schedule of everything else I have going on, but that is the plan. I would really like to do that because this is a Premier League series and it does take quite a while to get through each season. So if I fall off more than 3 times a week, we could end up at this for like 6 months. So I don't want that to happen. I want to stay consistent with it. So hopefully that is the plan for this series for now. So for this episode, which will be kind of the re-debut of this series, because it has been about 3.5 months since I last uploaded this series, we're just going to kind of recap where we're at, what's going on, what this series is, and then also take a look at the squad, maybe do a squad report and have a look at where we can really strengthen our team for this 4th season. So what this series is, if you're new around here and haven't seen the series before, is we started the series way back as our first series in FIFA 16, which also means, keep in mind, that a lot of the players that were added later, such as Jordan Morris, are not actually in this series. We never had Jordan Morris. We actually started with the team. All the MLS teams in this series started with the teams that ended the last regular season or the last season in the MLS. So we had Obafemi Martins, Marco Papa, Lamar Nagel, all those types of players, and the newer players that were added we don't have. So just keep that in mind as we move forward in this series as you suggest players that we should try to go get. So what this series is we took 7 teams from the MLS and put them in the championship in England, and we're kind of keeping track of where all the teams are going. We had control of the Sounders. Obviously, that's the main part of the series, but we also want to keep track of what all the other MLS teams did. So as for us, as a recap of our history in this series, in our first season, we won the championship, getting promoted into the Premier League. In our first Premier League season, we actually made it into the top 4. I don't remember exactly where we finished, but we qualified for Champions League. And in our 3rd season, as you can see, we managed to win the Premier League title. A very Leicester-esque run, if you will. We went the large majority of the season actually undefeated. We just had a magical run in there where it just seems like nobody could quite beat us. Had a lot of draws, actually 2nd in the league in number of games drawn, but didn't lose too many games. So we actually had a pretty good season number 3. We did get knocked out in the Champions League in the semi-final by Atletico Madrid, who did go on to win the whole thing, but it was a heartbreaking 1-0 loss at home that knocked us out. I couldn't believe we couldn't score a goal. We just needed 1 goal and we would have gone through, but we couldn't manage it. So this season, season number 4, we're really going to have an eye on the Champions League, as that is the only competition we are yet to win with this team. Now, the other part of this series is keeping track of where the other MLS teams are. So, at the end of season number 3, this is where the other 6 MLS teams stand. The only other team that managed to make it to the Premier League thus far was the LA Galaxy. They ended up finishing 19th place this year in their first season in the Premier League, which means they're getting relegated back to the championship. Not all that surprising. They had a really good run. They were up most of the season, and at the very end of the season, they actually slipped down into the relegation zone. A little sad to see them go, as we will be the only MLS team left in the Premier League for season number 4. Now, in the championship is where most of the other teams are right now. New York finished in 5th place last season, managing to make the promotion playoffs, but not managing to get themselves promoted. Unfortunately, lost out in that competition. The next closest team was actually Toronto. They finished 14th, Columbus 17th, and the last team in the championship last year was NYCFC, and they're actually getting relegated, joining the last MLS team down in League One, which is Portland. And they've been down there. I think they got relegated after their first season. Did not do very well down there. Yeah, they've struggled. They finished 5th though in League One. It's a promising first season for them in League One. Maybe they can turn it around and get promoted next year. We'll have to wait and see. We'll keep an eye on them. And as I'm about to roll this thing over to season number 4 so we can have a look at our squad and the new player that's coming in, if you haven't been around for this series, you don't know the massive player we're getting in for season number 4, which is probably the main reason I wanted to come back to this series. I was super excited to get in and have this guy in the Rave Green for next season, but I did get an email saying we won Manager of the Season for the Premier League last year, so that's pretty awesome. But enough of that. Enough of season 3. That's the past. Let's move forward and have a look at our squad. So now here we are in season number 4, and this is what we ended the season number 3 with. We do have our new player in here, not in the starting 11 yet. He will be a starter on this team, but I just want to quickly give you an idea of what we were working with in season number 3. Iheanacho, this is why I didn't get him in any other series so far, is because I already have him, and I've already used him, and he's fantastic. I know he is, and he is the starting striker on this team. So all those people that wanted me to get him before, here he is. He is the striker. He is great. I know he's great, and I'm going to prove it now. He's a fantastic striker. On the left side, we had Iñaki Williams. He actually took over for Hesse. You can see Hesse on the bench. Hesse got injured. Iñaki took over and just never gave up that spot. He's just flat out. He just plays better than Hesse does. And we'll actually probably look to sell Hesse in this upcoming transfer window, bring in quite a bit of money, and look to upgrade a couple of other positions because the new player we have on pre-contract is going to be the starting left winger. Just to give you an idea, if you don't know who he is, that's one more hint before we unveil who it's going to be. On the right side, it's Carrillo, and he's actually fantastic. I mean, you wouldn't really expect it. He's not a big name player, but he's been here, I think, since midway through season number 1, maybe beginning of season 2, and I've never even considered replacing him. He's been that fantastic for this team. Mastor is the highest rated player in the squad. 84 rated, been here since the very beginning, the second player I think I ever bought in this series after our right back DeAndre Yedlin for obvious reasons. I mean, Rave Green, people from Seattle know why I bought Yedlin. But yeah, Mastor's been fantastic, and he's gonna continue to start on this team. Obviously, the highest rated player. Well, now he's the second highest rated player technically, but he's been here since the beginning. I love him. Goretzka, probably player of the season for season number 3. Finished this season with, I think, 12 goals, which was second on the team, and like 15 assists. Scored free kicks for fun. A fantastic midfielder. Not one that's talked about all that much in the career mode community, but a great midfielder. I absolutely love him. Gutierrez has been good as well, but we might look to upgrade that spot this season as we look towards the Champions League. DeAndre Yedlin is the captain. Rave Green all the way. Seattle love. He's a Seattle dude. I love this guy. First person I bought in this career mode. Had to go get him if we're doing a career mode with Seattle in England especially. Deserves to be here. He is the captain. Denayer is probably the number 1 player I want to look to replace. And not because he's bad, but because I want to make the team better. I'd like a veteran center back in that spot. I do like him. He's a good player, but I think we can upgrade that spot. Jonathan Tah is fantastic though. Wow, is he good. Physically a beast. Just a fantastic center back. And Galloway on the left has been very, very good as well. I'm not going to look to upgrade him either. Moreira is our goalkeeper. Only 75 rated, but he is pretty good. I mean, I'm not lying. We'll continue to train him up, and I think we'll stick with him as our goalkeeper. So as for the rest of the team, I've already talked about Hesse, maybe selling him on. I probably will do that just because he's worth quite a bit, and I like Iñaki better, and especially since Iñaki's going to have to move down and be a substitute this season. The rest of the team is pretty good. You'll notice some more MLS players in there. I'm not sure about who I want to keep, who I don't want to keep. I'm just going to highlight Darlington Nagbe, by the way. If you're doing a career mode in one of the big leagues in the world, like England, Italy, Germany, France, Spain, some of those, if you're looking for a backup wide midfielder, you could do a lot worse than Darlington Nagbe. He is fantastic, especially coming off the bench late in games. Wow, is he a great substitute. The rest of the team, you can see a lot more original sounders in here. Marshall, Evans, the club captain, Rose. We also have Correa. And then there's this man. Oh, freaking Neymar. Oh my god. I've never used Neymar. Never have I ever used Neymar in FIFA. Not in Ultimate Team, not in career mode. This is going to be special. This is our pre-contract man, and this is the guy that's going to take us over the top and hopefully lead us to a Champions League title. It might happen, it might not. You know, it's difficult to win the Champions League, but I like our chances with Neymar in the squad. So now I'm going to give you a quick full squad report, all right? I'm going to let it roll through on the side as I talk about kind of what we could do to improve this team. I've already talked about Jason Denayer and improving that center back spot. I really, really do want to do that. Bring in a veteran center back, a world-class center back almost. Maybe not like Sergio Ramos, but maybe like Vertonghen or someone that's around 82, 83 rated. Something like that to be the centerpiece of that defense and lead that back line. So if you have any suggestions on that, make sure to let me know in the comments below. Also, we have Gutierrez in the midfield that honestly in this series, I've gone back and forth a million times about him. I've said I'm going to sell him, and then he ends up playing really, really well, and I kind of go away from selling him, and I keep him in the team. But maybe if we have money, we'll take a look at getting another center or center mid in. Not sure about that one. And then we have Morera as the only goalkeeper on this team. I said I'd like to keep him as the starter, but maybe we could take a look at bringing in maybe a goalkeeper that's towards the end of their career, a super veteran, if you will, maybe an Iker Casillas, or if Buffon is still around, maybe someone like that to really kind of solidify that goalkeeping position for one season. And if we go into a season 2 in this reboot, maybe that season as well. But honestly, let me know what your thoughts are on that. But those are really the only spots I can think of that really need strengthening. We have about $47.5 million in our transfer budget, about 270, I think, in our wage budget. So we've got quite a bit of money to play with, and the sky's the limit. No restrictions. That's the best part about this series. I don't have to worry about restricting myself to any certain type of player or money-wise or anything. So whatever you guys want to do, any suggestions you want to give me, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. So that is going to do it for this episode, kind of the reboot episode for this series, letting you know kind of what's going on, what we're doing, and where we're going to go from here. As always, leave me your suggestions for players you think help this team reach our objectives this season, which is win the Champions League. Winning the league title doesn't mean so much to me anymore, as we've already done that. Obviously, it'd be nice to repeat. Our objective for the season is to finish top 4, so obviously we want to do that, but winning the Champions League is the only thing we have not done, and it's my one goal for the rest of this series. Is I want to win that Champions League. So if you have any players in mind that would help us get there, obviously let me know in the comments. And as I take a look at the standings, actually, New York Red Bulls did get promoted. They actually made it through that playoffs in the championship and have been promoted to the Premier League. So that's good. That's good to know. At least we'll have that to look forward to this season. It's always a derby game when we play MLS teams, regardless of if they're actually a derby game in the MLS. It's always a big heated rivalry for MLS teams in this series. So I'm excited about that. I'm happy that another MLS team has made it to the Premier League. So that's going to be good. It's going to be a lot of fun. I really like this series, and I'm glad to get back into it. So that's going to do it for this episode. If you are looking forward to the return of this series, make sure to let me know by leaving a like below. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see you. Ooh, feels good to say this again. I'm looking forward to this. Oh, this is the best part. I will see you when we come back for some more Rave Green. See ya.